Can you please switch to Afonrere? Okay. So mo fẹ́ hand over fáwọn bàbá wa tí wọ́n coordinate the global arm of this conference. Afonrere, over to you, sir. We can't hear you. You need to unmute. Okay. Ó kù díẹ̀ a máa gbọ́ yín sìn. Kobru, while we're waiting for the global arm to come online, because I like going sir Afonrere, màá fẹ́ pé àwọn bàbá wa tí wọ́n ti wà pẹ̀lú wa láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Àwọn ni ó kàn báyìí. Àwọn ni Ọ̀túnba Abímbọ́lá Ashiru, ọmọ bíbí Ìjẹ̀bú Òde, ọmọ Bàlá, àwọn náà Ìjẹ̀bú Òde. Àwọn alágẹmọ mẹ́rìndínlógún. Àwọn mi ò wá mọ̀, torí ó dà pé Ìfìdípọ̀tẹ̀ family is a difference. Tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ orin òbélé mi fi ń kí Ìjẹ̀bú. Ṣùgbọ́n Ìjẹ̀bú Òde Ajagbalúra ẹ káàbọ̀ sà.
Thank you very much, Madam Titi. Kábíyèsí Aláìlúwà, Your Royal Majesty, the Kábíyèsí of the whole Ijebu. No, you are now Ijebu now because you are both Ijebu and Olugbon. Because I know the role you play, and well done. When you were talking about the story with Baba, I know the prominent role you played. I want to recognize my Egbons here. I didn't know that Egbon is Agbaki now. Agbaki Demola Folari, Otumba, the Joshubogun, and Egbon Lanri, and the chairman of Southwest Afenifere. Then the president of Yoruba, yeah, well done, and the Secretary General. Thank you for inviting me here today. But what I want to tell you is this. We are talking about Yoruba as if we are talking about somebody else. But we are talking about ourselves. That's the mistake we keep on making. We must take ownership. If you don't take ownership, we have problems. And that is the problem we have as Yorubas, even as Nigerians, because we must be very proud of what we have. If you are not proud of what you have, nobody outside there will be proud of. I mean, I always tell people that when you are coming back, I remember when President Tinubu came to this country, he said something. He said, Nigerians, you have no business going around the world. Your resources are here. And he was tapping the floor. If you are flying back to this country, you see many foreigners flying here and coming here. There is something here. Nigeria is a country that is endowed by a lot of mineral and natural resources. So we Yorubas are blessed. And I want to tell you this. I want to correct you. And I want to let you know that Odua is already approaching trillions. But by God's grace, yes, it's approaching trillion. And by God's grace, we will get there. And by God's grace, we'll be commissioning Premier Hotel in the next few weeks. We are increasing the room from 87 to 154 rooms. And Odua we are into marginal field. By God's grace, we should be able to do our first oil very soon. We have our license. So I just want to let you know that Odua is moving the right direction. And Egbon, the Odua Academy you are talking about, I will talk to the president of Odua Foundation. She happens to be the only surviving child of Baba Awolowo, Dr. Awolowo Dosunmu. She's the president and they've done a lot. They've actually empowered over 10,000 students in the Southwest. So I think we are moving in the right direction. But I just want to let you know that the world is changing. The world is changing. If you remember, we're all looking forward to America, China, all those. But now, Yorubas now, we are now there. But the point is this. I want to tell you this. With the internet and AL, we need to coordinate ourselves as Yorubas and work together as a team. Egbon was talking about something. He said, we are envious of ourselves. We don't like ourselves. And if you look at it, the people that are actually criticizing Ashwaju more are the Yorubas. And you now find out what is going on here. I think it has to do with envy, jealousy, and the price you pay for things like this. When you are successful, people will hate you, people will dislike you. But if people don't dislike you or hate you, then you are not successful. So the price you pay for being a successful person is people envy and jealousy. But I will tell you this. We can model our policies and programs, initiatives along so many ways. But the point is that, what I want to explore is that for we Yorubas, we need to start looking at areas where we have comparative and competitive advantage over others and work together as a team. And that's it. And I want to commend you guys. Most of you who are here today, you are diaspora. You are in England. So you can see that those of us in Nigeria that are based in Nigeria, we are not even contributing the way we should than those of you in diaspora. Because I know that most of you in diaspora, somebody will call me from London or America and say, something is happening in Nigeria. And say, come, we are here, we don't know. So that means the AI is working very well. But I want to tell you something. Wealth is built on so many things. And the first thing I want to tell you is that we must take ownership of our lands. And how do you take ownership of your lands? The issue of property, to secure our own lands and with property without encumbrance. And I will tell you this. Even some of our lands in Yoruba, because I served in government, I was the commissioner for 8 years, and I know the implication. Some of our lands, because other people are now penetrating, taking it, you see people issuing 2 CFOs. They've issued 1 CFO, then they will issue another CFO, then you start going to court. But we must take ownership of our lands. If you don't take ownership, we are going to continue to have problems. And how do you take ownership? When you take ownership, then it will be difficult for the bandits to penetrate into the lands. It will be difficult for them. And how do you take ownership? You have to secure it. Security is very key. I remember growing up, you can go from anywhere. Those days, we go to parties, we leave parties, get back home at 4 a.m., 3 a.m. I don't think you can do that again in Nigeria. Even especially in this Yoruba area. It was very sad, very emotional when I heard about what happened in Osun and in Oyo. And I said, this can be averted. But I was even told that those schools, they don't even have no communication gadgets, so nobody can know what is happening there. So those are the areas we need to do, because you can only build wealth when you secure the land you have. Areas where we have our farmers, we are talking about food. No farmer can go to the market and to the farm again because all these guys are there. They use, everyone was talking about cattle rearing. There should be somewhere where they keep them, even all over the world. We all see how they maintain all these things. Those are the areas we need to look at. And the first thing, securing our land is very important and very key. And the second thing we have to look at is that we must not build something, nothing on nothing. Already we are talking about infrastructure, good roads, good networks, light and everything. So, see, the rural dwellers, they've moved to Lagos. But if you go to even the places we are living in England, the people there, they go to their villages. How many people go to their villages here? No. Even those of you, we all have people coming from one village or the other. Our people, the rail system should be working, the dams, our power and everything. We need to start working on those things. And if you don't do that, we continue to have this problem. And that is very key. And the biggest advantage we have is to create people's and let people be accountable. Then the issue of leadership. We must take ownership. As the president of Yoruba guys in diaspora, we must take ownership. Our leaders are more, there must be leadership, there must be citizenship. We don't have that. We need to look at that. And we must be able to think of how responsible we are in terms of this area. And we have so much collective responsibility. You see, if we don't come together as one, there's no way we can succeed. oneness. Together you unite, divided we fall. So we as Yorubas, we must do that. But I don't like it when we are talking as if we are talking about other people. But we are talking about ourselves. And a leader of any team is a member of that team. So our leaders, even the president of the country, is a citizen of Nigeria, is a member of Nigeria. So we must think alike. If we don't think alike, then we're going to have problems. And I believe that this is the center for what I believe could become a refreshing of our civilizations and help us to truly become a beacon on the rest of the nation. When we build with commitment and common goals, we will achieve things together. And like I said, I'm not going to talk for so long. I want to leave you with this thing. The journey we plan for and the journey we should be planning for may be two different journeys. But we can only go where we plan for. I hope where we plan to go will be the farthest we can possibly go. I wish us good deliberations. And I don't want us to turn this meeting to the usual UN talk show. Action must follow. If you notice, Nigerians all over the world, and even all the presidents, they go to United Nations every year. They say the same thing. They come back the next year. But if it is true that United Nations is working, there will be no war in Ukraine. There will be no war in Israel. There's no war in Iran because we are united. So on that note, I want us to stand as a team and work together. I wish you good luck. Thank you and God bless.
Esheun Gosa, thank you so much. Esheun, that was a wonderful summation. And a gbà pé àwọn èèyàn wa wọ́n ti gbọ́ a dẹ̀ máa mú gbogbo nǹkan tí ẹ sọ náà a máa mú lò. Thank you so much. Esheun. Okay.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Mo kí yín o. Honorable. Mo kí yín sir. Ẹ káàbọ̀. Ẹ ṣeun gan. Adúpẹ́ pé gbogbo wa náà la rí nǹkan tí a gbé sí ojú àwòrán wa. Donation time ló kù. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ a bẹ̀ yín. Tí gbogbo wa bá mọ̀ TYF àwa member ni à ń fi ení tere èjì tere tí a fi ń rọ̀nù organization yìí. Kò sí pé bóyá èèyàn kankan ń gbé owó fún wa àbí wọ́n ń gbé nǹkan kan fún wa níbi kankan. So a máa wá bẹ̀ yín ẹ jọ̀ọ́ kò sí nǹkan kan tó kéré jù ẹ fi support wa. Please, can you put the account number? ẹ jọ̀ọ́ donation abẹ̀yìn ni o kò sí nǹkan kan tó kéré jù a lè dá ṣe o ẹ̀yin náà lè máa bá wa ṣe ẹ má jẹ́ kó wọ̀ wá lọ́rùn o torí tẹ bá fi ilẹ̀ fáwa nìkan ó máa wọ̀ wá lọ́rùn ẹ jọ̀ọ́ àwa náà ni àti owó onírú àti owó oníyọ̀ ni à ń papọ̀ ni àwa mẹ́mbà ń papọ̀ la fi ń ṣe gbogbo ètò tá à ń ṣe so abẹ̀yìn lórúkọ náà ẹ má jẹ́ kó sú wa ẹ má jẹ́ kó rẹ̀ wá ẹ bá wa náwó sí i kò sí nǹkan kan tó kéré ẹ bá wa náwó sí i account number wa nìyẹn òun lè rí yẹn ẹ jọ̀ọ́ TYF Ògo Adúláwọ̀ Wema Bank 0446142 ẹ ṣé o àpò yín ò ní gbẹ o láṣẹ Ìdùmarè ibi tẹ bá ti ń mu kò ní tán bẹ́ẹ̀ o thank you so much ẹ ṣeun o. ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí n máa gbọ́ gbọ̀ngàn ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ gbọ̀ngàn à ń dúró fún àlá àti yín o ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ gbọ̀ngàn ẹ jọ̀ọ́ kò sí nǹkan kan tó kéré o kò sí any amount kò sí nǹkan kan tó kéré adúpẹ́ o ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa lọ́wọ́ sí o thank you so much ẹ ṣeun gan. I would like to call on má jẹ́ kó bàjẹ́ community development initiative ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ṣé wọ́n wà ń bí àbí representative má jẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ community development initiative. On security challenge in Southwest, má jẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ community development initiative. Ó dàbí ẹni pé bóyá wọn ò tí ì dé àbí representative wọn ò sí ń bí à fẹ́ tẹ̀síwájú. So máa fẹ́ pe àwọn panel of discussion alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ lórí terrorism and insecurity in Yoruba land and Nigeria. So panelist Olakunle, engineer Olakunle Faleti, are you there? Afọrẹ́rẹ́ àgbọ̀n yín dáadáa.
Hello.
Can you go louder, please? Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ̀yin oní irinṣẹ́ ẹ̀rọ. Aforere, can you please increase your volume?
This is the highest. Hello.
Aforere, are you there? Bàbá Àkànjí Àgànṣẹ́ wà ń bẹ̀. ẹ má bínú o, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ fún wa ní ìṣẹ́jú kan. A ní challenges díẹ̀ ní ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn engineer wa ń bí báyìí ni. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ spare wa ní 1-2 minutes. While we're waiting, ẹ bá wa donate bá ṣe sọ, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí a gbọ́ gbagam. Afonrere, are you there? While we're waiting for Afonrere, please, we'll move on. Once again, is Majeko Baje Community Development Initiatives here, or their representative? Ẹjọ́ tẹ́ bá wà ń bí jẹ́ ká rí yín àbí ká gbóhùn yín. Okay, and then we'll move on to panel discussion. So I would like to call Engineer Olakunle Faleti. Honorable Akin Alabi, are you here? He's not here as well. Okay. Prince Eniola Ojajuni, Shewa Mbisa. Ah, Prince, Mokinyo, Eku Amoribo, Niri Remo, Alakbarani, ẹni tó lọ sílé, bí ẹni tó lọ sílé dungeon ẹkùn. Tó bọ̀ ni, ẹ jù wọ́n lọ, ẹ lágbára jù wọ́n lọ, ẹ jù wọ́n lọ. Ọmọ Yorùbá ni wá, ọmọ Yorùbá ni akọni, akínní, àní rírẹ̀ mọ́. Ẹ ṣé gan, thank you so much. So ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tẹ́ bá ní ìbéèrè both on Zoom and gbogbo àwa tá wà ń bí. Mr. Yola Bọ́lárìnwá náà wà ń bẹ̀. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí arójú yín. Okay, Mr. Yola, má bọ̀. Àwọn èèyàn wa máa ní ìbéèrè àti àwọn tó wà ní orí Zoom àtàwọn tó wà ń bí. So, Engineer Faleti, I guess you're on Zoom. So, please, if we have questions, any question at all, àbí àwọn èèyàn wa náà tẹ́ bá ní submission, little submission tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́. Any ìbéèrè tẹ́ bá ní, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ béèrè. On security, you know, that is going on, most especially in Yoruba land at the moment, and in general, and in Nigeria in general. So, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká mọ question yín, ìbéèrè tẹ́ bá ní, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́. Àwọn panel wa ń bí, wọ́n máa bá wa dáhùn ìbéèrè yín, any question. Mo kí yín mà o, ẹ káàbọ̀, mo kí yín o. Thank you so much. Ẹ ṣé gan o pé a pè yín, ẹ wá. Eshigma, thank you so much. So,
mo kí gbogbo wa kú àpérò ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́. Mo kí àwọn bàbá mi tó wà ní ìjókòó. Mo kí àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi àti àwọn àbúrò. kí wa ní ẹ̀ǹkan sí kú àpérò ẹni. Thank you very much for coming to this conference. We believe that at the end of this conference, we are going to go from here to do more and to understand the interests of Yoruba and how we can achieve and protect this interest in the rising multipolar global order. Today, we shall also be looking at terrorism and insecurity as it is rising in our land, in Nigeria, and on a general note. The problem of terrorism is not new. So I'm going to try to define terrorism in simple terms. So when we talk about terrorism, kí tiẹ̀ ní ìgbésùnmọ̀mí, òun ni a máa yẹ̀ wò. Tí a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa terrorism, ó jẹ́ ọ̀nà kan tí àwọn ẹ̀dá kan tí wọ́n máa ń fi gbà láti mú kí èròǹgbà wọn wá sí ìmúṣẹ ní orí ọ̀nà bí ètò tó jẹ mọ́ bí òṣèlú. So terrorism is achieving political objectives through violent means. So nígbà tí ẹnìkan tó bá ní èròǹgbà kan tàbí ìfojúsùn kan pé òun fẹ́ kó ṣeé ṣe, ṣùgbọ́n tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ gba ọ̀nà ẹ̀tọ́ láti béèrè fún, ni àwọn èèyàn báyìí ni wọ́n máa ń resort sí pé kí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní fi ìwà ipá àti ìpayà ọmọlàkejì lára béèrè àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní àwọn in academic world, there is always challenges about defining terrorism. And that is why we must be careful when we define terrorism. So we have to contextualize terrorism in the aspect where it is actually truth and dangerous. And this is why we are going to talk about inordinate desires in society. So when people seek inordinate desires in society, then it becomes a true type of terrorism. So what can these objectives be? When one seeks to impose a unilateral idea that is not of interest of the public or a society on the people, and so therefore such a person or group decides to be violent about it. This is what I will define as true terrorism. Because nígbà tí ní àwọn ìgbà kan wà tí àwọn èèyàn kan tàbí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ kan tí àwọn kan ti sọ wípé terrorist group ni wọ́n, gẹ́gẹ́ bí àpẹẹrẹ bí President South Africa nígbà kan Nelson Mandela, wọ́n ti fi gbà kan pé wọ́n ní agbésùnmọ̀mí, ṣùgbọ́n a rí wípé ètò òṣèlú ló débẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n tí a bá fẹ́ sọ àwọn tí ó jẹ́ pé agbésùnmọ̀mí tí wọ́n máa ń pa ọmọlàkejì lára láti mú kí èròǹgbà wọn kó di ṣíṣẹ, àwọn gangan ni àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ́ fi dandan mú ìlú kan tàbí agbègbè kan tàbí àwọn ènìyàn kan láti jẹ́ kí èròǹgbà tiwọn nìkan tó jẹ́ pé ó ṣe àǹfààní fún wọn kó di mímú ṣe. So ìyẹn jẹ́ tí a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ wípé kí ni ìgbésùnmọ̀mí. So oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà ni àwọn ẹ̀dá wà tí wọ́n fi ń ṣe ìgbésùmọ̀mí wọn. A lè sọ ìgbésùmọ̀mí nípa physical violence, pé kí a fi ká pa ọmọlàkejì lára tàbí ká ba ilé ètò ìjọba àbí nǹkan kan jẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni there is also economic terrorism. Ní àsìkò tí a wà yìí ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, kì í ṣe physical violence nìkan ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ń kojú, kì í ṣe ìpanilára pẹ̀lú ìpanilára nìkan nípa ti ara tàbí ti ohun ìní. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àwọn ẹ̀yà kan náà wà tí wọ́n tún ń ṣe ìpanilára nípa ti ọrọ̀ ajé fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, which I call economic terrorism. So níwọ̀n ìgbà tí ó bá ti jẹ́ wípé àwọn tí ó ń ṣe egbògi oògùn olóró tàbí àwọn ohun tó ń pa àwọn èèyàn lára gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ohun mímu, ohun jíjẹ tí wọ́n ń pín sí àárín àwọn èèyàn wa, àwọn náà dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí apá kan àwọn oníjàmbá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àwọn tí ó lọ ń kó àwọn ọmọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí eléyìí tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Oríire local government ní ẹjọ́ mẹ́ta yìí, agbésùnmọ̀mí náà ni àwọn náà jẹ́. So mò ń sọ eléyìí láti jẹ́ kí ó yé wa dáadáa kí ni àwọn ìgbésùnmọ̀mí àti ọ̀nà tí àwọn ẹ̀dá wọ̀nyí tí wọ́n fi lè gbé sùnmọ̀mí, òun ni a fẹ́ ká mọ̀, àti pé láti jẹ́ kí àwa náà kí a lè kíyèsí, so that we pay attention and be sure that we defend against these challenges. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ti ń sọ lọ, mo fẹ́ kí a tún wo àwọn ìdí tí ìgbésùnmọ̀mí fi wà. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìdí ló wà tí àwọn èèyàn fi ń gbésùnmọ̀mí. There are some that are psychological, and there are some that are desire for expansion. There are some that are desire for expansion. Orú eléyìí tí à ń rí ní láti ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n ń jí àwọn èèyàn wa gbé, tí wọ́n ń dọ́gbọ́n lé àwọn èèyàn kúrò ní orí ilẹ̀ wọn torí pé wọ́n ń fẹ́ wọlé sí ilẹ̀ wa, wọ́n fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀ wa. Eléyìí ló mú kí wọ́n máa kọ́ máa fi ogun ja àwọn èèyàn wa ní láti bí Kogi, Kwara àti gbogbo àwọn ibi tí wọ́n ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ káàkiri. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àwọn eléyìí tí mo pè ní psychological, báwo ni mo ṣe fẹ́ sọ ní Yorùbá, pé àwọn tí ènìyàn need tó ń jẹ́ kí bóyá kó ń jẹ́ kí èèyàn máa feel pé òun ó fulfill. So tí a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ psychological yẹn, ibẹ̀ láti máa rí àwọn nǹkan bí ẹ̀sìn. Àwọn tí ó ń gbésùnmọ̀mí ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà, ó jẹ́ àwọn tí ó ń fẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ń fẹ́ achieve nǹkan kan fún ìdí kan tó rọ̀ mọ́ bóyá bí ẹ̀sìn àti ìgbé ayé. So gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti mọ̀, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá jẹ́ ilẹ̀ tó jẹ́ wípé lára àwọn ohun tó mú wa yàtọ̀ sí gbogbo ẹ̀yà tó kù ni wípé a wà tolerant, a ní ìfaradà, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni a sì ní ààyè fún ẹnikẹ́ni. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí ó bá ti di pé àwọn kan ti wá wò wípé kò yẹ kó máa rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ó yẹ kó jẹ́ pé àwa nìkan là wà níbí, àwa nìkan là wà ní ipò ìjọba. Ó ń jẹ́ kí ó di wípé kí àwọn èèyàn kan máa wo láti pa àwọn tó kù lára tàbí láti ṣe agbódegbà fún àwọn tí ó lè pa wá lára. So ìyẹn jẹ́ ní apá ibi tí ó ti jẹ mọ́ ẹ̀sìn ní abẹ́ psychological factor. So kí wá ní àwọn ohun tí ìgbésùnmọ̀mí tí ó lè mú wá náà ni kí àìbalẹ̀ ọkàn lórí ètò ààbò, kí a máa kọ́kàn sókè, ká máa kó ìpayà, a máa ní ìpayà pé ṣé ẹ̀mí mi dè níbi tí mo wà, ṣé kò sí nǹkan tí ó lè ṣe mí, ṣé ẹ̀mí àwọn ọmọ mi ṣé ó dè, ẹ̀mí ìyàwó ṣé tí ọmọ bá lọ sí ilé ìwé ṣó lè padà wálé. Àwọn nǹkan tí ó máa ń mú wá nìyí. Àwọn nǹkan tí insecurity wa máa ń mú wá náà ni backwardness, because àwọn nǹkan tí ó bá yẹ ká ṣe tó bá ti di pé ẹ̀rù ń bà wá láti ṣe, pé a ṣe tí ń bá jáde lọ ṣé mi ò ní rẹ́ni tí ó máa kọjú ìbọn sí mi, tàbí tí ó máa jí mi gbé, tàbí tí ó bá máa jí ọmọ gbé. Ní ẹnu ìgbà tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ Oríire local government tó ṣẹlẹ̀, a ti rí àwọn òbí tí wọ́n ti ń sọ wípé àwọn fẹ́ máa tọ́ àwọn ọmọ wọn ní ilé ẹ̀kọ́ ní ilé, pé tí ilé ìwé ò bá ṣe lọ àwọn máa tọ́ ọmọ nínú ilé. Eléyìí tún jẹ́ nǹkan tó lè yà wá sẹ́yìn, nítorí pé àwọn èèyàn wa ti fẹ́ máa bẹ̀rù láti ran ọmọ wọn jáde lọ sí ilé ìwé. Ní bí ọ̀sẹ̀ kan a rí fọ́nrán kan lórí ayélujára níbi tí àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké, ọmọ ilé ìwé kéékèèké tí wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sáré, tí wọ́n ní àwọn ajínigbé ti dé o, àwọn ajínigbé ti dé, bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n àwọn ọmọ yìí ń sá àsálà fún ẹ̀mí wọn. Eléyìí jẹ́ ara nǹkan tí ó lè máa ṣẹlẹ̀, tó lè fa ìfàsẹ́yìn, torí ọmọ tí ò lọ ilé ìwé tàbí àsìkò tí ọmọ ò bá fi lọ ilé ìwé, ó ṣeé ṣe kí ọmọ náà kí ẹ̀kọ́ ẹ̀ kó wà delayed. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọrọ̀ ajé àti iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àkùdé lè bá, nígbàtí àwọn ibi tó bá yẹ kí ọmọ tó yẹ ká ti lọ sí oko, ká lọ ṣiṣẹ́ oko, tàbí ibi tó yẹ ká ti lọ tajà tí a lè rí tá a rọ́jà tà, eléyìí lè mú àkùdé bá ọrọ̀ ajé wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni pé a rí wípé tí a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìdàgbàsókè ìlú, wọ́n máa ń pè nǹkan kan ní foreign direct investment. Tí wọ́n bá sọ pé foreign direct investment, bí àwọn olùdókòwò láti òkè òkun tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ dókòwò, lára nǹkan tí wọ́n máa ń wò náà ni ààbò ìlú, security. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá jẹ́ ibi tí ó máa ń fi ọkàn balẹ̀ fún onílé àti àlejò, ṣùgbọ́n tí a bá wá nǹkan ṣe sí ọ̀rọ̀ ààbò, ó ṣeé ṣe kí ẹ̀rù máa ba àwọn olùdókòwò láti wá dókòwò pẹ̀lú wa ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, eléyìí tí ó lè fa ìfàsẹ́yìn fún ilẹ̀ wa. Torí ìdí èyí, níbi tí ètò ààbò dé ní ilẹ̀ wa lásìkò yìí, ó jẹ́ ohun tí a gbọ́dọ̀ jí gìrì sí, tí àwa náà bá fẹ́ dúró déédéé ní àsìkò tí ìjọba àgbáyé tí ó ti ń di ẹlẹ́ka ẹ̀ka níbi ọ̀nà àwọn ipò agbára tó pọ̀ láàrin àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè. So ọ̀nà wo la wá lè gbà láti mú kí ètò ààbò wa kó rinlẹ̀? Bàbá mi tán sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, wọ́n sọ nǹkan kan, ètò ààbò kì í ṣe eléyìí tí ọlọ́pàá nìkan lè ṣe. A gbọ́dọ̀ rí wípé àwa náà kópa nínú ètò ààbò. Tí a bá rí, tójú wa bá rí, ẹ jẹ́ kí ẹnu wa kó wí. Ẹ jẹ́ káwa náà máa wo àwọn tó ń wọ agbègbè wa, tó ń bá wa gbé, àwọn alábàágbé wa, káwo ṣé àwọn tí wọ́n bá wa gbé yìí ṣé wọ́n jẹ́ ẹni àlàáfíà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kí ìjọba wa kí ó tún bá wa múra sí láti ṣe ọrọ̀ ajé wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Aṣíwájú la jẹ́ ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Mo rántí nínú àwọn àṣeyọrí ní àsìkò àwọn bàbá wa Awólọ́wọ̀ ní pé àwọn gan tún máa yá ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà lówó kí ọrọ̀ ajé wa kí ó túbọ̀ lọ síwájú sí. bóyá àwọn nǹkan tó kù bóyá a máa tún máa sọ ní àsìkò ká lè fi àyè sílẹ̀ fún ìbéèrè àti.
So, since we don't have questions, it seems people are either busy with food or maybe Zoom issues and all that. We won't have a proper panel discussion, it seems like. So we're just going to go ahead and have Prince Ojajuni also speaks on the security issues on Yoruba land. Unfortunately, the speaker was supposed to be the leaders of my Yoruba Community Development that was headed by Dr. Akin Akindeko. Is there anybody from his group here? Because I'm aware there's supposed to be 4 people coming. So we're just going to go to Prince Ojajuni. You can have 10 minutes. After that, we will go to Dawn Commission address. Then we will go to Baba Laoshe as well as we move towards the end of the program today.
Ẹ káàsán, mo kí gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, and I want to thank God for this opportunity and for the wonderful program Think Yoruba's Force. Nígbà tí my leader ní Afẹ́nifẹ́re àgbà tí wọ́n give a speech, mo kàn tẹríba síbẹ̀ yẹn. I thought a lot tó ti miss lára ọmọ Yorùbá, that we must be able to unite to defend these people in our line. Rántí nígbà tí wọ́n jí mi gbé ní last year tí mo lọ sí Abuja, February 17 precisely. It was a bad experience. Bad experience indeed. Tí èmi gan gbàdúrà fún ọ̀tá mi kó là kọjá. Lóru àná mọ́jú èní, ìyàwó mi a jọ ń gbàdúrà. Bí a ti ń gbàdúrà, mo kàn rí picture Mr. Market tí wọ́n pa yẹn, ẹkún dẹ̀ ń jábọ́ lójú mi. Àti ọmọ tí wọ́n ní olóde ẹ̀ ti ṣaláìsí àbóṣíwà láyé, ọmọ 2 years. Ẹ lè imagine kan táwọn ọmọ kékeré ń go through. Can you imagine what they are going through now? Yesterday made 3 weeks that those innocent children who are doctors, tomorrow engineer, president, future governor's wife, kan tí wọ́n là kọjá lórílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Ìkan tí èmi gan là kọjá fún 12 days yẹn. Nígbà tí mo dé nígbà yẹn tí wọ́n gbé mi lọ sí General Hospital ní Ìkàrẹ́ Àkókó, ìbọn méjì nídìí mi fún ọjọ́ méjìlá. A dẹ̀ ń rìn from bush to bush, from places to places. And let me go back to our leaders, our leader Afẹ́nifẹ́re àgbà. Báwo ni Yorùbá a lè fi mọ́ ṣọ̀kan? Because a house divided against its step cannot stand. Nígbà tí wọ́n ṣe tán mo lọ bá wọn, mo ní leader, kí ni way forward? Lánàá mo wà lọ́dọ̀ àwọn leader kan, a ti lọ sọ́dọ̀ ààrẹ. That's Ìbà Gani Adams. Kí ni ọ̀nà àbáyọ? Because àwọn people tí ẹ ń wò yìí, they are everywhere. 57 camps ni wọ́n fi wọ̀n mí pa wọ́n ní. Ní Ondo alone, they have 26 camps in Ondo. Nígbà tí mo dé, I collect letter sí gbogbo sector, security agency. Nobody take us serious. And I want to thank my elder brother, Commissioner of Police, Bode Ojajuni in Ogun State. We sent a petition to him when he become CP. And today, some camps of Fulani have been vetted. In Yoruba, it's not about sitting down here, discussing, talking grammar. It's about let's go into action. Let's go into action. I want to appeal to all the leaders of the warriors Yoruba. Sunday Igboho, on architecture of security team, Ba Gani Adams, he has his own. Afẹ́nifẹ́re ní titi wọn. We must come together and fight a common enemy. For the sake of our born children, for the sake of those children who are in the bush now. Like I said, yesterday made 3 weeks. Kò sí bàbá, kò sí òbí tó jẹ́ òbí gidi tó máa gbàdúrà nǹkan táwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ ń là kọjá, ọmọ tó tàkàtà òun jáde kó là kọjá. Our president will say something. Say people mock me. Yes, they mock me because of the last election. That's why they were mocking me. Because where we stood, without our drosy, without our condrosi, anybody want to claim supremacy in Yoruba land? And at this junction, we must not claim that supremacy. Mo ṣe bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ yín sí, àwọn ibì kan wà ní some part of Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde going to Ondo tó jẹ́ pé is an ongo area for Yoruba people, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣàtúnṣe o, lórúkọ Jésù kò ní dé bá yín o. Àwa tá ti dé bá, ìkan tó dé bá wa là ń sọ ń pa yìí o. Tó bá jọ pọ́lọ́pọ́ àwọn Yorùbá ń diaspora everywhere, má ti di òkú lẹ́nìí. Nígbà tí mo dé gan, tí mo lọ ṣe operation, in fact, may God bless every one of them. It took the time that I don't want to talk about Yoruba because I look at Yorubas who are going to Shirawa. Tí Bàbá Tinubu bá lọ second term, tán bá wọlé, tán bá parí ọdún mẹ́jọ wọn, ibo ló wá ń lọ, ọ̀dọ̀ Fúlàní àbí? Will they protest Yoruba land? Possible. Ìkan tí Buhari ṣe, ibi tí Buhari bá dé ló máa tún bẹ̀rẹ̀. Adẹ̀dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ National Assembly wa ń gbẹ̀yẹn tí wọ́n pé wọ́n fàyè gba rógà. Ká ní wọ́n allow rógà yẹn kó ṣẹlẹ̀. As a president, you want to have a settlement for every Fulani across the 777 local government. Can you imagine? Yoruba, let's think Yoruba first. Let's put our personal interests, irrespective of political affiliation we belong to. Our land must be secure. Mo sọ nígbà tí mo dé, mo ní àwọn Fúlàní sọ fún mi pé àwọn, I won't say it, báyìí ló wà lẹ́yìn àwọn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. The police came after me. Lẹ́yìn ìgbà yẹn ló ṣẹlẹ̀ o. Kábíyèsí kan ló gbé ní Kwara State that is working with these people. We must be able to secure our land, our border. Ọ̀túnba ń sọ lẹ́kan, wọ́n ní pé tí ẹ bá rí àwọn kan tó kó Fúlàní wọlé, ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn. If you challenge them, the political power bill will ask you question. Who sent you? Lọ́dọ̀ wa nígbọ́kọ̀dá, nígbà tí ní Ugbo, nígbà tí àwọn Fúlàní yẹn ní last 3 months, wọ́n ya wọlé wọ́n tó bí 3 trailer. Lábá lọ sọ́dọ̀ Olúgbò. This is what we saw lo. Abẹ̀sí make investigation. Láì mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọlàjẹ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ṣe kíni ló kó wọn wọlé. Why do you come here? Wọ́n náà kan ti pé wọ́n máa ṣe ọ̀kadà fún àwọn. Mọ bí tí wọ́n ti ń bọ̀. Mọ history wọn. Ní bá wọn and you know you bring them in. And after 3 months, one of the Seriki, it happened in Wakoda local government. We stood against it. So every Yoruba, even you're a businessman, entrepreneurship, we have given room to these people. We have given room to them. We must put it aside. Because Tobade, whoever talked of what happened in Uri happen, nobody thought of it. Because nobody knows what they are planning. We must put Yoruba at first. Yoruba must be first priority. Security issue is a collective responsibility for every individual. Where are these people? Where are they coming from? That's why we have CDA. But today, unfortunately, CDA today, they become seed income. A lot of them have lost their dignity because of interest of politics or because of interest or personal interest. Look at beautiful faces here. Mo rìn láti Kaba, arìn nínú igbó láti Kaba, lọ sí Edo State. Orí ọ̀fẹ́ ni mo rí gbà àánú ni, àánú tó common. They've given me all sorts of names. Ẹni lọ ló bọ̀, ẹni tí kò pa, they are Lord. Ìbọn méjì fún 12 days. Yorùbá, alálẹ̀ ò ní fi wá sílẹ̀ o. Whether you are a Muslim, you are a Christian, you must put aside and let interest of Yoruba be your first priority. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Prince. That's his first eyewitness account, right? His personal experience that he was sharing a little bit there. So, finally, some questions did come in from our people on Zoom. I apologize profusely. We have a lot of technical problems today, which is very unusual. But the show must go on. So I received a question that says, what are the roles of the LCDAs in our communities in securing their communities? I don't know if any of our we're supposed to have 6 panelists, but only 2 of you are here. I don't know if any one of you want to take that question. Mr. Ayola? Okay.
The local government is the closest arm of government to the people, where the local people live, and they say every crime is local. So even if somebody comes from a distant land to commit a crime, that person will definitely stay in the locality. So LCDA is a place where we can gather intelligence. So for people that are living in any local government or local government development area, we must open our eyes and see what is going on. And once we see something, we must pass this information to the security agencies. There are a lot of things that happen that if the security agencies were able to get a glimpse or hear about those things, they would have prepared better to counter those threats. So people that are in the local area must gather information and pass those informations to the security agencies. That is how we can help the security agencies to secure us better, because we are actually large people. If we want to go by how many police officers can protect each person. So sometimes when we look at the number, it might be like 1 police officer to about 50,000 people. And for this reason, we must support these agencies to help them do their job better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me take the next one so that we can move to the afternoon session. I mean, the second part of the conference. So the second question actually it's 3 questions. One of them was, what are the active steps our obas and bales are taking in each community in Yoruba land? And unfortunately, the KBAC has left the building. I don't know if we have any bale in the gathering that wants to take that question. Do we have any bale that is here? 1. Going. Do we have any bale in the house that wants to answer the question of what is the role of bale in community protection on this terrorism thing? 2, going. 3, gone. So there is no bale to take that question. So the last one I'm going to give to you, Prince. It says some of these terrorists don't carry weapons because their roles are just to scout and scope the areas and map out escape routes and hideouts. What step can we take to fish out these people?
Thank you. Before I will answer the question, let me contribute to what Engineer just said. You see, the CDA level, I think we must restructure ourselves, just like Otumba said, our mindset towards security issue in our community. And it will go a long way if we pray that restructuring take place. By then, the House of Assembly need to redefine the law of CDA in the sense that those CDA, they don't have any sustained power, because if, for example now, they caught a Fulani or somebody threatening to the community, sometimes they work with the police. It happened to me 5 months ago. I was coming from Abuja. I got to the airport. A Uberman took me from airport down to Ojota. Do you know, around 10 p.m., there was an issue. A Yoruba man was supporting Awusama against me, Yoruba man. So we must restructure our mindset. And to the issue of Bale, what is the role of Bale contribute to this security? I could remember that when my father was Olugbo of Igbo Kingdom, when the king then wake up in the morning, tí kábíyèsí bá jí ń gbà yẹn, ó máa ń lọ mú pé abọ́ rẹ̀, ẹ wá bá wa yẹ ifá wò, nǹkan tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìlú lẹ́nìí. But lẹ́nìí nísìnyí tí kábíyèsí bá jí, àwọn governor ni wọ́n ń pè, senator ni wọ́n ń pè. All those things, we've àti ń gbàgbé a lot of things lẹ́ Yorùbá. Restructuring our mindset, and also give this local government chairman the power be. Mr. President, or give power of Anthony to the local government. Nígbà tó wo ibà dé náà, ibo ló ń lọ, ọ̀dọ̀ governor ló ṣì ń wà. Orí Adé local government, for example, I'm not here to criticize the governor because he's one of the best governors out west. As of last allocation to one guy is about 6.5 billion. 6.5 billion, if you can use 6.5 billion naira, if you can use 3 billion to cater for security in those various communities, empower Amateku, empower Agbekoya, other security agency, these people, they won't be able to come. And everyone cannot help us. We must help ourselves because Israel, Iraq, one Jagun, one Jesus, one Allah, they have sophisticated weapons to defend their land. So indeed, as of now, the 1999 Constitution has 89% our problem. That is why we must redefine that law. It's a fraudulent law that will favor Mekunra. That's why I'm urging Mr. President, by God's grace, so that I can be able to redefine this country or go back to the 2014 confab, because that confab, what if you want to see level everybody belongs, see? Jonathan, I don't want to use negative word towards that man. If you have implemented that law, Nigeria, Southwest will have become a global investment destination today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Mo kí gbogbo lé o. Ẹ má bínú pé mo pẹ́ ó rẹra ni. Aago 9:00 àbọ̀ nítorí àwọn ará ayé àtijọ́ tó bá ní nǹkan aago 10:00 àní akádébẹ̀ ní aago 9:00 àbọ̀. Aago 9:00 àbọ̀ ló yẹ kí n ti dé bí báyìí. Ṣùgbọ́n mo try. Mi ò lè gbé nǹkan kan. Ẹ má bínú, mo tọrọ gáfárà kì í ṣe bí ṣe mi. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ̀yin ọmọ wa, mo fẹ́ ṣe rí èmi lọ lé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin l'Àbújá. Bí mo ṣe wà yìí, èmi ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí Nàìjíríà bọ́n ṣe tó yìí. Nítorí ẹ̀ ni mi ò ṣe òṣèlú mọ́. Nítorí pé nǹkan tí mi bá nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí, mi ń báyàn lọ́wọ́ nú ẹ̀. Ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì náà ti fi appointment lọ̀ mí tí mo ní ibi tí mi ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí, mi ò lè bá yín lọ́wọ́ nú ẹ̀ torí mò ń tanra mi jẹ ni. Ṣùgbọ́n ṣe rí òjò tó ń rọ̀ yìí, àmì oòrùn tó máa ràn lẹ́yìn òjò yìí, ó gbẹ omi. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ọ̀jájú ni àbí? Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, Ọlọ́run mo fi bẹ̀ yín. Tí a ò bá yí bá ṣe ń ro èrò wa padà, a ní lọ síwájú o, a dẹ̀ ní yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ wa. Kò tí ì kàn mí láti sọ̀rọ̀ nítorí iṣẹ́ tíṣà náà ní kí n wá ṣe níbí ìlénìí. Ṣùgbọ́n mo láti dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Ṣé rí? Ẹ fetí sí mi dáadáa o. President Nigeria, àwọn sìsà tó ń jókòó yìí, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ni wọ́n. Ohun tí mo ṣe sọ pé ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ni wọ́n ní pé àwọn àtẹ̀gbọ́n mi àgbà ni wọ́n jọ̀rẹ́. Tí n bá yọ wọ́n kúrò, ẹ fẹ́ lè sọ pé èmi ló lórí ẹbí ń bí báyìí, àbí mo purọ́? President Nigeria ó dàbí èmi olórí ẹbí. Gbogbo yín kọ̀ọ̀kan yìí ó jẹ́ bàbá ńlá wa lónìí gbogbo Unilag. Èmi ló lórí ẹbí. Bọ̀ gbogbo yín lẹ níyàwó, gbogbo ìyàwó ló lọ́kọ tẹ́ ní ọmọ yín. Nígbà tèmi bá gba gbogbo owó àwọn alábàágbé wa, mo wá pín, mo fún ìdílé kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ebi wá ń pa àwọn ọmọ yín, ẹ wá ń ṣépè fún olè mi olórí ẹbí. Ṣé ó bọ́ sí? Màá fẹ́ béèrè pé àwọn ìyá yín àti bàbá yín kọ́, bí mo dẹ̀ ṣe wà bí mo ṣe jó lérí ẹbí yẹn, mi ò lè wọnú ilé kankan nínú yín kó wá báyàwó ẹ̀ wí pé ó fáwọn ọmọ ẹ ló ń jẹ ọkọ àná bàbá báwo tí ń ṣe jẹ́ ẹ má jẹ́ ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ pé president ṣe báyìí ṣe báyìí outright rubbish ni ṣẹ́rí mi ò ń bá àwọn gọ́vnà lò mi ò ń bá gbogbo àwọn tó ń ṣòṣèlú yìí ṣe nítorí inú mi ò dáa púpọ̀ téèyàn bá fẹ́ wájọ̀gbọ́n mi kó fi nǹkan kan gún ọmọ Yorùbá kan á rí ìjọ̀gbọ́n mi ò ní bẹ́ẹ̀ nìyẹn sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ pálapàla tó ń ṣe yìí ẹ̀ ń fún wọn láyè ni mo ti kà á níbí ìbàyẹn sìn tí pásítọ̀ kan bàdàn tó ń sọ wípé Rẹ̀mí Tinubu ò ṣe bí ìyá ó yẹ kó ti jáde ṣé local government chairman ni ẹ ṣé kò níyàwó ṣé kò kì í ṣe first lady local government yẹn ṣé Mákindé ò níyàwó ṣé kì í ṣe first lady Ọ̀yọ́ state so ìyàwó bàbá àgbà òun ló máa wá síbẹ̀ rubbish ni law Nàìjíríà ó fún gbogbo wa gbogbo state ní right láti protect àwọn yẹn wọ́n dẹ̀ ń gba security vote ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ fún yín nígbà tí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí bẹ̀rẹ̀ ṣebí Èkó náà kọ́kọ́ jí ọmọ gbé kí lè kó ṣe wọ́n pe Buhari ṣáàtì ẹ̀ dá wọn lóhùn ṣáà dá wọn lóhùn ṣebí Sanwó-Olú mú lẹ́tà kan lọ fún ó wò báyìí pé báwo wọ́n ṣe gọ̀ tó yìí ná tó mú lẹ́tà wá bá mi lẹ́tà yẹn ń sars ṣebí orí tẹlifíṣàn láti rí tó gbé lẹ́tà yẹn ó kàn jù ú nù ni so kàn á sọ pé wọ́n jí ọmọ gbé lẹ́pẹ̀ Èkó wọ́n sáré wọ́n tún nǹkan wọn ṣe nígbà yẹn 2015 èmi wá ń sọ fún èèyàn kan ní 2016 36 million ní Profos ló ń ta APC kọ̀ọ̀kan 36 million 2016 wọ́n dẹ̀ láwọn gọ́vnà wa mú between 250 and 500 million as security vote lóṣooṣù tó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo á béèrè Ògùn ni mo ti wá tí Amosun bá fẹ́ máa ra APC kan fọ́dún mẹ́ta tó lọ á ra 36 sílẹ̀ tí a bá ní APC kan armored personnel carrier kan but kí la Amosun ṣe ó ra AK-47 1000 ó dẹ̀ ra 4 million rounds of ammunition ó dẹ̀ gbé sí government house so ẹ wá sọ fún mi ǹjẹ́ AK-47 1000 yẹ́yàn ò ti power army kan wọ́n dẹ̀ ń gbé àwọn èèyàn lọ ní Ìmẹ̀kọ Àfọ̀n ẹ̀ ń lọ́gun president ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe òṣèlú next ẹ lọ mọ nǹkan tí constitution Nàìjíríà sọ ẹ lọ mọ agbára tí Nàìjíríà ní mi ò kí n fẹ́ máa gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn nítorí pé 3 days lẹ́yìn tán gbé wọn IGP wá bẹ̀ ṣé Mákindé lọ bẹ̀ ṣé Mákindé lọ IGP 3 days tàbí ẹ kọ́kọ́ lọ bẹ̀ kì í ṣe gómìnà Ọ̀yọ́ state ni kò ní ìdíkẹ́yàn kankan máa sọ ká máa pé ìnàdẹnu jẹ pé president bí wọ́n change state police law lẹ́ẹ̀mẹwàá táwọn gómìnà wa ò bá ní ṣe nǹkan kan wọn ò ní ṣe nothing. It is not about the law it's about pé kí ni mo fi jẹ gómìnà sí ṣé èèyàn kan á fi rú èmi jẹ gómìnà màá wá dúró de president Nàìjíríà láti wá gba àwọn ọmọ yẹn èmi ni màá kọ́kọ́ débẹ̀. Every state is as big as a country in another country in Africa. So ṣé governor yẹn ṣé when you want to become a governor did you not think that you are going to serve your people? Are you going to serve your people on the directive of the president of Nigeria? Tẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ kan náà ẹ má fún wọn láyè yẹn ẹ ń fún wọn lẹ́ excuse tó pọ̀ jù ẹ ń jẹ́ kí wọ́n ní excuse tí wọ́n bá gbìyànjú gan gbélé ní the only person tó fẹ́ kó kọ́kọ́ sọ̀rọ̀ a máa bu Tinubu ò tí release statement kò tí tó bá release statement ok irú ìlú wo la fẹ́ máa gbé tó jẹ́ pé à á fún àwọn ajínigbé ní excuse pé president ò tí release statement so ẹ̀ ń sọ pé ẹ má jẹ́ mi ò tí gbọ́rú ẹ̀ rí wọn ebi ló ń pa wọ́n ẹni tá a kọ́ níkà tó sáré ṣe ó ní tinú ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ni ebi ń pa wọ́n ok ṣé ẹnìkankan nù yín ṣé gọ́vnà Ọ̀yọ́ state ṣé ó condemn kidnapping yẹn ṣé ẹ rí kà so à ń retí president ló gbọ́dọ̀ condemn ẹ̀ gọ́vnà wa gbọ́dọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ local government chairman gbọ́dọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ má encourage nonsense yẹn ní generation yín nonsense yóò ti lọ too far ní nígbà tí Nàìjíríà ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà ká tó di káwọn Ìgbò tó dàrú kó tó di báyìí western region ló ní ilé tí nàìjíríà gbà ní high commission ní uk lénìí wọn ò fún wa ní nǹkan kan ṣùgbọ́n wà lá lówó jù Awólọ́wọ̀ bàbá wa bàbá ò dúró pé nígbà tóun bá gbowó láti èkó lòun máa tó ná ṣé àwa tó ń bí dáadáa bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn tá a ní orísun bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn la wá di ẹni pé a di gbàrọ ẹ bá pe president kó wá gbà wá kí là ń wò tó fi ṣẹlẹ̀ tó bá dẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ tán ìwà tìjú ni ká máa sọ pé kinní kan president tó fẹ́ ṣe lọ́ọ̀wù ṣé state police máa gbà yín àwọn ṣàmọ̀tẹ́kùn kò fẹ́ kẹ́ wọ́n ṣàmọ̀tẹ́kùn kí ni business yẹn local government gba 500 million lóṣooṣù commissioner Ọ̀yọ́ state jáde síta ẹ bá a sọ fún president ẹ bá dé Àbújá kán wá fẹ́ǹsì gbogbo school wa èmi fúnra mi mo fẹ́ǹsì school commissioner for education oníkan tó nísìnyí federal government wọ́n ti ń kọ́ motor park láwọn state káàkiri nísìnyí tó bá yá rí public toilet wọ́n máa kọ́ market torí pé àwọn governor wa wọn are they insane are they senile are they mad láti jọ́ tí ask yourself the question ẹ fẹ́ kí insecurity lọ state wo ló wà ní south west tí ò sẹ́nìkan death row ìwọ nú wọn náà ti pa làwọn gómìnà ajẹ́ kan pa ẹ̀rù ń bà wọ́n dẹ́nà ètò gómìnà nìyẹn nígbà tẹ́mi wà ní house wọ́n ní bí Ọbásanjọ́ ò ṣe ṣe tiwa tó wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ gbé ẹ má bínú tẹ́ mọ mi ò fẹ́ sọ sọ́rọ̀ yìí ẹ má sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ o.
ẹ ṣe a sì máa ṣe mọ̀ pé ètò sì kù tẹ̀tù máa bá wa ṣe lénìí mo mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá ó máa ń ká Honourable Láòṣe lára gan ni àdúpẹ́ púpọ̀. I'm supposed to hand this over to my sister, Ms. Anikade, but in the interest of time, we're just going to move on to the next agenda. So, the second part of this conference is about leadership. And we had 3 topics. The first one is Yoruba Leadership Pipeline. This is the perhaps one of the most important things that we need at this stage in Yoruba development. And this conference, even though not very properly highlighted, this conference from Think Yoruba Force is in collaboration with the Dawn Commission. And we have enjoyed collaborative support from the Dawn. Shout out to the DG, who is not here today, Dr. Sheo Yele. But we have one of the amiable leaders in the Dawn Commission that's going to be giving this lecture, the Yoruba Leadership Pipeline. The person that's going to be speaking is Mr. Segun Bayonle. But before I call him to the podium, I want to use this opportunity to do a fundraising for Think Yoruba First. TYF is a self-funded organization. We are apolitical, non-partisan. We say political things because everything in life is politics, right? But we are clearly non-partisan. We don't belong to any specific party. If anything, we belong to Yoruba Party, right? You know. So we are going to have, if I can have IT, can you please project the, yeah, thank you very much. So donate to TYF, Ogwadulawa Socio-Cultural Association, via Wema Bank. That's our account number up there. For some of you who received some bags, some special packages, please send us some gifts so that we can continue to be here. And I'm going to do a quick shout out to some people that has been in the audience all along. Mr. Kunle from TVC, thank you very much for your support. Please help us thank him very much. He has allowed us, yeah. One of the biggest challenges we have as an organization is lack of visibility for all the work we're trying to do. And to get on TV, it's a big deal. You can remember in my lecture, I mentioned the need for a conservative Yoruba media channel. Because there's no outlet, there's no medium for us. We've had people reject our articles for publications because they are very uncomfortable saying some of the truth the way it should be said. So one of the few opportunities we get to speak on national issue has been on TVC, and we thank the producers for that. So, Lai Dono Kwenu, I'm also recognizing the presence of Ms. Anika Ade. Very soon we'll get to the award presentation and we'll talk more about it. I'm going to call on Mr. Shegun Bayonle from the Dawn Commission to go over the topic, Yoruba Leadership Pipeline. He's going to be talking about some exciting things. You will be wowed, I promise. Thank you, brother. Yeah.
All right, so why? So while we wait for the presentation on the screen, I first want to, I bring greetings from Dawn Commission, okay. My DG is also supposed to be here today, but somehow he couldn't, okay. So I want to thank TYF for this, for the wonderful things that you are doing. Everybody love, well, should I say everybody, okay? But, you know, there is something that they always tell us, you know, those days when we were learning, you know, there's something they said that Baba Abraham Adesanya always say, that each time they go to his house for meeting, Baba, they go there, they meet the meeting place swept, everywhere clean and all of that. But Baba has one sentence that he always says, that look, Ile Yoruba, Oma Enitongba Ohun. Okay, and that's the message that I also want to pass across, what I want to tell TYF today, that don't worry about what people say, Ile Yoruba Mentongba Ohun. Okay, you know, it knows what you are doing, and it's going to continue to support and reward you. I also want to advise, you know, or rather implore the members of TYF, you know, whatever it is, in through thick and thin, please support your president. Stand with him, you know, whatever may happen. Just make sure you empower him, you know. Make sure he has, when he can look back and see you backing him. Make sure that you will not, because he thinks about the organization every night and day. So he shouldn't have the stress to also have to start thinking about facing opposition, dissent here and there, and all of it, which will arise, you know. So I want to implore every member of TYF to please stand with your president. And also, there is one thing I love most about TYF, and that is their commitment to welfare, to the welfare particularly of their members. And I want to implore you to continue in this tradition. You are telling us to think Yoruba first. Thinking Yoruba first also means that you should think about your own members first also, and their welfare. Do we have this thing? Oh, okay. All right, so. So my topic is Yoruba Leadership Pipeline. A number of stuff have been said here today. Okay, so Yoruba Leadership Pipeline. Okay, the search for a new Awolowo. You know, you ask anybody. There are young people who do not meet. Who do not experience Awolowo, and it's like they are jealous. In fact, sometimes they point accusing fingers at the elders and say, what Awolowo built, you people destroy it. It's as if Awolowo should just come back, you know. So there is that urge, there is that desire for a new Awolowo. And I've been privileged to stand in some meetings, private meetings with top people. Okay, I remember a governor lamenting, and genuinely, he didn't fake it. He said, "Look, what else can I do to be perceived, to have the same perception that Awolowo has?" He believed he has done everything and that he merits it, and then he just opened up to us, privately, that what can I do? What is it that Awolowo did that we are not doing? So in a way, they are also concerned. They perhaps even envious that, maybe the Yoruba people are not repaying them in the same coin that they, that they repay Awolowo. Next slide, please. Yes, please. Okay. So the question then is, do we need a new Awolowo, right? In my own estimation, I think that what we have is a leadership pipeline problem. So the screen, the text is a bit, this thing on the screen, so I think it's kind of small, all right? But we'll manage, I'll be able to speak to it from my phone. Okay. Yeah, okay. Mm. Yeah, okay. All right. That's fine. Okay. All right. So we have a situation today where we have Yoruba land. Everybody that has spoken here today has said that Yoruba land is blessed. It's Africa's most politically conscious ethnic nationality. We have a civilization that spans thousands of years. Okay, we have a UNESCO recognized knowledge systems. There is nothing that a blessed ethnic nation needs that Yoruba does not have. We have an uncle, Uncle Tunde Odunlade. Most of us most likely know him. Okay, he told us a story. He went for a conference somewhere in the US, and then he got there and he introduced himself as Tunde Odunlade from Nigeria. And someone then asked, said, which part of Nigeria? I said, I'm Yoruba and all of that. So, I mean, this happened in the 80s. Then the person, then the next day, the person walked up to him and said, look, next time, do not introduce yourself as from Nigeria. Introduce yourself as a Yoruba person. The woman went overnight to do a research on Yoruba and discovered that, look, Yoruba even had more public. But when you look at our society today, does it reflect this glorious state? When you walk through our streets, our markets, that's the complications. When you go through our schools, we are just talking about kidnapping now. Does it reflect this glorious state that we say Yoruba is? And then the question is, why as a people with Awoism as inheritance, as heritage, why, we have a proof of concept. We are not asking for something that has not been done before. It has been done before, it worked. So why have we failed? Why have we not been able to replicate it? So I think, we spent years, decades, searching for a new Awolowo, when actually what we need is to rebuild the system that produced Awolowo. So Dr. Buki, in our speech, was talking about the 4 institutions that we need. Yeah, that's fine. But those are at the high level. There has to be a pipeline that will produce the people that will operate in those institutions. So that's what I want to focus on. How do we recreate the system that produced Awolowo? Next slide. Yes. Okay. So in a multipolar world, the quality of Yoruba institutional depths, not the identity of the next political leader, will determine whether this moment is opportunity or accelerated decline. You know, so we're talking about what happens to Yoruba land in a multipolar world. Okay, it's going to be dependent on the quality of. Okay, it's going to be dependent on the quality of our institutional depth. Okay, so that's, and a number of people have spoken along that line also today. Next slide. So, of course, Are has taken us through what a multipolar world means. So there's no point dwelling on that. Okay, but we know that the global power is becoming fragmented. It's becoming. We have the U.S., we have the Russia, we have China, and all of that. You know. So for Nigeria and by extension Yoruba land, this reshapes everything. The external resources available, the alliances possible, the leverage achievable, and the cost of internal coherence. So multipolarity creates opportunities for organized subnational actors that unipolarity suppressed, but only for those organized enough to act on them. And that's the core message. That's the message that has been like a thread, you know, among everybody that has spoken here today. The thread has been that we need to organize ourselves. We need to be united. Next slide. Okay. Yes, please. Yes. So coherence always precedes leverage. The leverage we are asking for, the leverage we want, the restructuring we want, everything, name it, that we want to see in Yoruba land will not come until there is coherence. And that much has been said also here today. So we saw the example. The Basque nation leveraged their economic self-organization to force the Spanish devolution. Okay? So they were first organized. They first organized their economy. And then they used their economic power. They used their economic leverage to demand what they want. You know, that is the difference here. Okay? The Yoruba people too, we have the most sophisticated economic region in Nigeria. But have we been able to leverage on this power to demand what we want? Okay, so we have the Tamil diaspora also, which converted cultural coherence into international political advocacy. And of course, we know a lot about the Zionist movement. Okay, now this is the principle: you do not become organized after you win. Okay, I've heard it said a lot of times. Seek ye first the kingdom of restructuring, and then every other thing will be added onto it. Okay, you do not become organized after you win. You win because you are organized. Okay, you first have to, we first have to organize ourselves, and then that is when we can now position ourselves to get what. So coherence is the precondition. It's not the reward. Okay, I think perhaps the mistake over the years is that we flipped this. We thought that the reward will come when we get the restructuring. Okay, so coherence or unity is a precondition. It is not the reward. The Yoruba have every asset a civilization needs. We have the population. We have a globally recognized knowledge system. We have the most commercially productive city in sub-Saharan Africa. You know, a highly diverse professional diaspora with access to decision makers in 3 continents. That's a huge asset. Okay, but little or none of this has been converted into an organized leverage. Okay. Next slide. Yes, please. So then, instead of looking for the next Awolowo, the right question is not who leads next, but what are we building? Okay, how are we organizing ourselves? Or how are we supposed to organize ourselves? Okay, so that is the right question that I hope we can answer here today before we leave. Okay. So are we building institutional depth that survive any given election outcome? Okay. Every of our plan, they say the buck stops at the governor's desk. Okay. So all our hopes, we hinge all our hope there. And I'm very happy listening to Daddy Laoshe, what he just said now, I think he just dashed our hopes. Okay, so really, we cannot hinge all our hope on election cycle. You wait for the next governor and say, okay, is it going to be favorable to our plan or not? We cannot build a civilization on that. Okay. So, the theme of this conference, therefore, to me, is a civilizational question that is dressed in political language. Okay, the answer, has to be in how we organize ourselves. The pipeline of producing leadership. So, what exactly is this pipeline that I'm talking about? I'm talking about infrastructure. That we need to build a system that can consistently and continuously produce what we want, not contingent on the birth of an exceptional leader, not contingent upon who becomes the next governor or who becomes the next president. So we need that infrastructure that can continuously and reliably produce what we want. Okay? So I go to part 2, which is inheritance. We know the heritage that we have, that we cherish, that we love so much, the Awoism. Okay? Now, we know that Awoism succeeded. Awolowo is exceptional human being, no doubt. There are things I've heard about him, and I keep wondering whether there was blood that flew, through his veins. But most importantly, he operated through an exceptional system with functioning layers. So the question is not where is the next Awolowo, it is where are the layers that made Awolowo. So I will not want to bore us with what Awoism is. Most of us already know that. Thanks to all the lecture series by TYF. So I'm going to skip that. Okay. Okay, I think you've lost me a bit. Yes, please, so that we can have it. So I want to go to the Yoruba governance model. It was Baba Akintoye that first, drew our attention to this in a lecture that he gave. And that's a lecture that I would recommend that every one of us watch. It's on our YouTube on Dawn Commission. The title of that lecture is Yoruba, Know Thyself. That's a lecture that that I keep listening to every now and then, over and over again. Each time I listen to it, something else crops up. So he said, look, that in the Yoruba governance model, the king pronounces the law, but the king does not make the law. It is the chiefs, it is the elite that deliberate and make the law, and then submits that to the king, and then it is the king that now pronounces it as the law. So the chiefs deliberate, the king pronounces. Now, after the pronouncement is made, no king, no chief claim ownership, But during the process, the king also does not meddle. So there is that synergy between the political leadership and the elite in the society. And that is kind of the system that Awolowo also replicated. We know most of Awolowo's policies were ideas of his lieutenants. For instance, the education policy, Baba Jasin and co. But he just go ahead and implement, and then the process go on. So Awolowo adopted them, owned it publicly, and implemented it. His value was that he trusted their thinking, and then their own value was that they served the project and not their personal enrichment. In any case, the pipeline should begin in the society and not at the party secretariat. There is so much society. Then when you look at the newspaper, what do they say? Okay. Then you look at the state of our universities. You know, everybody that graduated from UI in those days, they always regale us with stories of how people will come, they have, half a chicken per day. You know, there are people to do their laundry and all of that, you know. But they can't believe the state of those buildings. You know, those buildings, they've been there the way they were. You know, they are, those buildings, they were the same yesterday, today, and maybe also forever, okay? Then when you look at where our elite lives and where they invest, it tells also a story, you know. Do they invest in this society or do they invest abroad, okay? And then, most importantly, our informal economy. We call them informal economy. You go to Balogun market, you go to the market, you see the energy of our people, you see the resilience of our people, but you don't see the support that is needed, you know, that can help them to scale. You know, they are resilient, they work day and night, yet they can't access credit. They don't have insurance, you know. They live day by day, hand to mouth, you know. So, but we call them informal economy. What makes them informal? They are part of cooperative societies. What makes it informal? You know, the fact that they lack the necessary support is also a reflection of the quality of leadership. I hope I've not made you a bit sad about the reality of our society, but that's the reality. You know, on the one hand, we say we are a blessed people, but does the reality say, you know, that? You know, I'm going to talk about three things that I think we need to now start looking at. Paternalism, which is loss of autonomy. You know, every decision, you know, every decision, you know, stops at either the governor's desk or the president's desk. You know, even a secondary school principal cannot take a decision without waiting for approval from the state secretariat. You know, so even decisions that could be taken at the low level that can fast track progress, that can make things happen, you know, the loss of autonomy has prevented that. So governance, the way we see it in our society, has become, you know, paternalistic. You know, people can't make decisions. And so every decision that needs to be made is sent up, you know, is sent up, and then the files, then all the files now coalesce in front of the governor, and then you see that big file in front of in front of one man. So the system is bottlenecked. You know, there's a bottleneck at that stage. Then there's also the patrimonial system also. You know, a situation where the state becomes personal property. Okay, this kills important work. You know, I've been in a meeting where a governor, I'm sorry, maybe I think I've attended too much of those kind of meetings, and was having a meeting with labor leaders who are making some demands about reforms, and he said, "Look, nǹkan tá fẹ́ ṣe, nǹkan táwọn èèyàn máa rí, òun la kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ ṣe o." You know, so because of that, you know, every governor wants to do only visible projects. You know, the reforms that fast track the society is kept in abeyance. You know, so the difficult job is postponed. All right, we're talking about removal of subsidy. It ought to have been done many years ago, but we kept postponing the evil day. You know, and then so really because of this challenge to do only what people see and what people like, so you see governments focusing more on roads, buildings, and all of that, you know. And that's exactly what governance has been reduced to. The reforms that really make for human development, you know, we don't get to talk about that. Okay. And so when you have a combination of paternalism and patrimonialism, what you get is benevolent dictatorship. You know, benevolent dictatorship. There are organs, so they must just, so when they do something, we thank them for, for doing that, okay? But that exactly is the summary of the political system that the Nigerian Federation has handed to us. It was not what obtained during Awolowo. That was the difference. So when the governor keeps lamenting that I have done enough to merit the same credit, okay, it is not out of, it's not that they've not done much, but the problem is that they've operated from a different layer that Awolowo operated from. So really, we cannot get what we want from this particular system. That is the summary, perhaps the takeaway. Okay. All right. Next slide, please. Yes, please. Okay. So, having looked at the governance system, and I hope that it's very clear now that we cannot get what we want from that governance system. And I want to look at the elite structure also. Okay. When a society has problems that date back decades, that survive electoral cycles, the blame is not on the political head, but that of the elite. Okay? That's my position. Okay? People may disagree with me, but that's my own position. We have problems in our society that we've been talking about for the past 20 years. In the past 20 years, 4 governors, maybe 3 or 4 governors have come and gone. Okay? So when you have problems that date back decades, the blame is not on the political head. The blame has to be on the elite. And I have this analogy that I call the pothole analogy. Okay? So where I live, there was the road was newly constructed at some point, and then some months down the line, there was a small pothole there. And then during our CDA meeting, let's fix this now before it, it was nobody's problem at that time. Let's fix it now. Leave it, it's small now. It's nobody care, all right? But what happened? In a space of about 8 months, that small pothole became a crater, and then it became a traffic bottleneck. And you can now have, you now have to spend like 20, 30 minutes there to pass through. And all of a sudden, what was nobody's problem now became everybody's problem, And that is how there is no problem in our society that starts big. Every problem starts small, okay? Every problem starts small. But when it is small, what do we do? What do the elites do? They just gloss over it, okay? So there is that chronic disconnect between our elite and the problem in the society and the challenges in the society, And that chronic disconnect ends only when our elite decide that it ends, okay? Next slide. Yeah. Okay, I think you've lost me a bit. Yeah, you have to go. Okay, all right. Yes. So I want to talk about one model, where we see that things have been done differently. The Tamil people have always impressed me. The Tamil people, just like Yoruba, span different countries, Nigeria and Benin Republic and all of that. The Tamil people can also be found in Sri Lanka and also in India. The ones in Sri Lanka faced, they were fighting for statehood, and they got defeated. But what was supposed to mean an end to a people, became something that they survive on. Why? Because they've built cultural institutions that help them to survive that. So they have their own music, they have their own, in fact, their own form of movie. They call it Kollywood. It's India's second largest movie industry. Okay, so they've built their soft power, and that helped them to weather whatever military repression they were facing. So again, it applies a lot to our own situation here in Nigeria also. You know, we need to build the cultural infrastructure first. Political victories are not permanent. Cultural ones can be. Political victories come and go, but cultural victories are permanent. Okay. So I come now to the last part, the pipeline, what we must build. Next slide, please. Yes, just go to the pipeline. You will see the pipeline. Okay, yes, the pipeline. So here I have 7 pipeline that we must build that will help us to create the same layer, the same environment that Awolowo operated from. The first is the intellectual layer. Okay, and I have here, particularly at our palaces. You know, our palaces today have become, well, I don't want to say what I think about our palaces, but I will say what I wish our palaces should be. I mean, I attended 2 meetings with the late Alafin, the previous Alafin. You are going to have hours of debate. I mean, you don't even feel you are debating before a king, because it gives you that freedom. You know, you talk, he talks, and then, you know, hours of intellectual debate happen in that palace, you know. So our palaces must become, that is what palace should be. Palace should be the intellectual headquarters of a particular town. So all of us here, we are from different cities, different towns. You know, go back to your cities, go back to your town. You know, let them know that, look, palace is not for protocol, patronage, or access brokerage. You know, it is supposed to be the intellectual capital of that particular place. So we need to bring back intellectual layer. You know, we have the Dawn Commission. You know, proudly. You know, that can serve as intellectual layer for the region. You know, but we have our offices there, and so the question is, intellectual layer will grow from demand, you know. So if there is demand for it, there has to be demand, and we must do that. Then we must recreate the sociocultural groupings, that help to conscientize the people. We must bring that back also. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is the township unions. Every town, every village in Yoruba land has a development association. You know, we need to revive them. We need to empower them to be able to play some role. And then also the economic institutions. We have the Odua Investments, and which is doing very well now. But we also have the cooperative societies, you know, in their numbers. What are we, you know, we don't pay attention to them. But they have within their control huge assets that we could deploy for development. Okay, so the economic institution also has to be built. Okay, and then we also need to bring back our sociocultural tool. We have the soft power. We have the IFA, which is UNESCO recognized. We have the Afrobeats. You know, we have a thriving movie industry. These are tools of cultural diplomacy that we need to also work on. And then lastly, the diaspora political activation. We have our diaspora, which is a huge asset, right? And we need to, they need to move from being sociocultural organization to a political activation organization. You know, this is where I round up. At Dawn Commission, you know, we are also thinking along this line, and in partnership with TYF, we'll be announcing some initiatives very soon. We're working on an initiative called iYoruba. We're working on an initiative called Lead and Grow. Okay, and we're also working on another initiative called COLDEX, you know, Community-Led Development Toolkit. So we need this partnership, you know, do not just leave these institutions alone, engage with them, make a demand. Dawn Commission, can you do this for us in our village? We have this problem. Can you help us what do you think? So there has to be that demand between the intellectual layer and the elite. And then we can then begin to jointly solve the problem in our society. I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. Nǹkan kì í sí bẹ́ẹ̀, ó kì í ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ràgó. So we're going to move towards the award presentation now. There's a lot of things that we wanted to talk about today, but I think at this time we are being told that we are running out of time. So we will just, the next lecture was supposed to be about the leadership, which is supposed to be given to us by our Baba, Honorable Larry Laoshe, but luckily he has given us a lot of his gems this afternoon. So we're going to go now to the award presentation together with my sister here, Madam Ejide. Can she have that mic? Oh, sorry. Apparently there was a question for Dawn Commission from one of our diaspora executives from USA, Mr. Oluwaseun Arogundade. And I don't have a good view here to read the question. But that's the question being posed up there, and this question is going to the Dawn Commission. Is the Dawn Commission considering the establishment of a Yoruba land trust or land bank to help preserve ancestral lands and strategic real estate within Yoruba land, given the institutional capacity, assets and all that? I understand like these questions to be part of a lot of our concerns at TYF in terms of land preservation. So I don't know, Mr. Baranle, if you want to just say yes or no in the interest of time. We have about 10 minutes to close.
Well, one thing I can say is that there is probably no challenge that we are facing today that does not have a paper, lying on one shelf somewhere at Dawn Commission. So again, it's a question of implementation. Waiting for the right time or waiting for the right partnership or the right opportunity. So these are some of the things that we've thought about, that we've done some, and there are recommendations. There are perhaps even proof of concept also. So I think I'll just.
Okay, so the answer is yes. They are thinking about that. They just have not found a fertile ground. Pretty much. They have not found that governor that will take the bull by the horn and make it happen. I think that is the paraphrasing of what he's trying to say. Oh yeah, Madam Ejide, ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe kíní ibi iṣẹ́, ká gbé àwọn award kàǹkàǹkà fún àwọn èèyàn.
Àwọn tó yẹ. Ẹ ṣé gan, thank you everybody. Ẹ ṣé lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. Ipe a pè yín, ẹ jẹ́ ẹ ṣé gan. Àwa ni ẹ máa bá. Ẹ̀yin la máa bá, ẹ̀yin máa bá wa náà. Tó bá di ọdún tó ń bọ̀, ó ti di dandan, a tún máa darapọ̀. Ká wá lọ sí award presentation. Gbogbo wa la mọ̀ pé Ọ̀túnba Jídé Ọ̀ṣíbógun wọ́n wà níbí, ṣùgbọ́n Ọ̀túnba Dèjì Ọ̀ṣíbógun wọ́n wà níbí kó tó di pé wọ́n ṣe presentation, gbogbo wa náà ní a rí wọn, ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ti lọ nísìn. wọn ò dúró gba award wọn bóyá torí wọ́n ní ibò míì tí wọ́n tún gbọ́dọ̀ fi ẹsẹ̀ bà, ṣùgbọ́n a ní ẹni tí ó máa bá wọn gba award náà. Madam Titi Code, ńbo ni wọ́n wà? Ó pẹ́ títí aṣọ lọ́jọ́ alẹ́. Òun náà la fẹ́ gbé fún gbogbo wa la rí nǹkan kékeré tá fẹ́ fi ṣọwọ́ sí Ọ̀túnba lélẹ̀. Ó wù wá kó yẹ pé àwọn náà wà níbí náà máa gbà fún ara wọn, ṣùgbọ́n torí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ lọ, so a máa wá gbé fún Madam Titi kí wọ́n bá wa gbé fún wọn. Madam Titi, ṣé ẹ lè bá wa sọ nǹkan díẹ̀ tẹ́ rò pé bóyá Ọ̀túnba máa sọ tán bá gbà lọ́wọ́ wa?
On behalf of Ọ̀túnba Ayọ̀dèjì Ọ̀ṣíbógun, a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Think Yoruba First, the leadership and the membership worldwide for recognizing his efforts in Yoruba land. Nítorí Ọ̀túnba Ayọ̀dèjì Ọ̀ṣíbógun kan kì í ṣe ọmọ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pé mo kàn jọ ọmọ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ẹni tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí ohun gbogbo Yorùbá ni, ohun gbogbo tó bá ti jẹ́ ti Yorùbá ni Ọ̀túnba nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí. Mo rántí ìgbà tí màá darapọ̀ mọ́ Think Yoruba First, Ọ̀túnba ló commandeer mi pé Títí, your service is needed. Mo ní uncle, ẹ wo àwọn kinní yìí ó ṣe ń pọ̀ o, assignment yìí tẹ́ ẹ kàn máa lọ korúkọ mi sí kiri. Wọ́n ní Títí, tí mi ì bá feel pé ó máa wúlò nínú àwọn òbí báyìí báyìí, àwọn eléyìí báyìí náà rí bẹ́ẹ̀ lèmi náà dẹ̀ ṣe bá. So ní orúkọ Ọ̀túnba mo receive award recognition yìí, mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ọmọ káàrọ̀ òjíire àti pàápàá jùlọ the leadership of Think Yoruba First for recognizing his contribution. Ẹ ṣé.
Ẹ ṣé gan Madam Titi, ẹ bá wa sọ fún Ọ̀túnba pé a tún dúpẹ́ àtọpẹ́dá, wọ́n ṣe ògùn pàpè wọ́n yọjú lẹ́nu. Ẹ ṣé. Thank you.
So, the next award presentation will go to my dear sister, Ms. Anikade Funke Treasure. She is a trailblazer in the media industry. She's a renowned journalist, and anywhere they are talking about, they are discussing or handling Yoruba issues, taking action, she's usually forefront. I remember our ferry report on the indigenship bill, the demonic bill that was introduced by the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Kalu, and the whole nation stood up and said, no, you're not going to take our indigenship away. We remain who we are, despite the fact that we are Nigerians. Our indigenship is non-negotiable. She did a very good session that puts a lot of focus on that. I'm going to call on the president of Think Yoruba First organization, Mr. Bolarinwa. I guess he's not in seat, so when I turned my head this way, I saw Mr. Oyenuga, so I'm just going to give him an impromptu assignment now.
Mr. Oyenuga,
I'm going to task Mr. Oyenuga to present this award of Akikanju Omoluabi to my amiable sister, Ms. Anikade Funke Treasure.
This wasn't planned. She's a very selfless person. She's quite relentless. She doesn't really back down when it comes to Yoruba affairs. First time I came across Anike, I was like, who's this combative person? She was I saw her more like a honey badger, and I kept thinking, I don't want to cross this person. But when I saw her in person, I was like, this is you. But her size doesn't reflect her capacity, and I wish we had more people like her within our midst, within TYF, outside TYF. But her efforts, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, is really appreciated. And on behalf of our leader, Are, I'm glad to do this for him, and a big thank you to Anike. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mo dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ fún ẹ̀yẹ ìní. Lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ mo fẹ́ kí àwọn bàbá wa àti àwọn màmá wa tó wà ní ìjókòó wípé ẹ kú kàlẹ̀ o, ẹ kú jókòó, àdẹ̀kù ayẹyẹ ọjọ́ ìní. Inú mi dùn gidigidi gan ni fún award, yes, àmì ẹ̀yẹ tí mo gbà lénìí. Wọ́n ní téèyàn bá ń ṣe nǹkan kì í ṣe pé èèyàn ń ṣe nítorí kí wọ́n lè fún ní ẹ̀yẹ, ọ̀tẹ̀ èèyàn ń ṣe nítorí kí ìlú bá lè dáa, nítorí pé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá a ti sùn tipẹ́tipẹ́. Gẹ́gẹ́ bá a dẹ̀ ṣe gbọ́ táwọn Dawn Commission ṣe presentation wọn lẹ́ẹ̀kan, àwa ni a jẹ́ olórí látìgbà tó ti pẹ́, àwa là ń fọ̀nà hàn àwọn tó kù látìgbà tó ti pẹ́. Mo fẹ́ dàbí Jésù, but kì í ṣe Jésù, right? Awólọ́wọ̀ kì í ṣe fìlà Awólọ́wọ̀ nìkan ló yẹ ká fi máa dára wa mọ̀ wípé akínkanjú ni wá, àti wípé ọmọlúwàbí ni wá, àti wípé a níbi tá à ń lọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àpapọ̀ àwọn ẹ̀dá tọ́lọ́run dá sílẹ̀ ayé yìí. Mo fẹ́ rọ̀ wá, mo ṣe wà ní ìdúró yìí pé iṣẹ́ pọ̀ fún wa láti ṣe. Gbogbo wa ló yẹ ká dìde sí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá. À ń gbọ́ Yorùbá nation nítorí pé àwa gan pọ̀ ní ẹ̀yà oríṣiríṣi within the Yorùbá nation. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, gbogbo nǹkan tó ń lọ ní Nàìjíríà lónìí, tiwantiwa, tó bá jẹ́ ti ẹni ni kéèyàn dì mú. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú bàbá wa Aṣíwájú Tinubu tó wà ń bẹ̀ lénìí kó lè bá àjú wa ṣe. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, mo bẹ̀ yín ní gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lórí social media ń sìn, tá a bá fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú ẹni tiwa kò ní ṣeé ṣe fún wọn. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ̀bẹ̀ ni mo bẹ̀ yín. Àwa tá a wà ní ìdí iṣẹ́ mídíà, a mọ̀ nǹkan tó ń lọ, oríṣiríṣi ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà lénìí. Tá bá dẹ̀ fi ọwọ́ tiwa, tá bá fi ba èyí tó jẹ́ ti tiwa jẹ́, kí ni ẹnu ọ̀rọ̀ wo la ní? Ẹ wo gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ l'Ékòó lónìí, wọ́n ń bá wa du ipò tiwa gangan nílẹ̀ tiwa gangan. No, this must not continue. A ní láti dìde, we must rise up and stand fún àwọn generation, àwọn ọmọ tiwa tó yẹ pé ńgbà táwa bá lọ tán nǹkan táwa bá ṣe lénìí làwọn máa dé bá o, torí àwọn tí wọ́n ṣe ti tẹ̀yìn òun làwa ń jẹ báyìí o. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ ká sùn, ẹ jẹ́ ká jí, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ ràn kan náà ṣe ń sọ. Mo dúpẹ́ gan ni. Thank you, think Yoruba first for this honor. Thank you very much. Shigoma, thank you so much.
Olólùfẹ́ mi, súnmọ́ mi pamọ́. A dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Ayẹyẹ tó kàn yìí ó yàtọ̀ gan-an ni. Akíkanjú ọmọlúwàbí. Arákùnrin Adéwùmí Wàlíù Mufutau. Ẹ lè má mọ orúkọ yẹn, ṣùgbọ́n tí bá sọ orúkọ wọn sí ìnagijẹ wọn, gbogbo yín lè máa mọ̀. Àwọn ní Yorùbá pikin. Màá wá pé àwọn coach wa, màmá wa kọ́nilẹ́kọ̀ọ́, Ìyáàfin Títí Abọ́yadé kò kọ́ wá bá wa gbé àmì ẹ̀yẹ yẹn fún wọn. a dìídì pé wọ́n nítorí pé mídíà làwọn náà.
a tún ti dé bí a ti ń dé. ìmọ̀lẹ̀ dé o òkùnkùn paradà.
Bàbá mi, mò ń jẹ́ o. Ní orúkọ Think Yoruba First, a fún yín ní àmì ẹ̀yẹ yìí for your contribution to the Yoruba culture, the language, and the heritage. Ẹ ṣé, ẹ kú iṣẹ́ ìlú, Olúwa túbọ̀ máa fún yín ṣe.
Àṣẹ.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm truly honored to receive this award. And my sincere gratitude goes to the entire organizer of this event. Think Yoruba First and the leadership. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. My special thanks goes to my wife for providing a conducive environment, for being the foundation of our home, for giving me the opportunity to teach my children the Yoruba language and for imbibing the Yoruba culture in them. Because Yoruba sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ dẹ̀ ọdún, wọ́n ní bí ìgbẹ́ni lórí. Tí ilé ò bá dẹ̀ da, kò sí àǹfààní tí mo lè ní láti máa ṣe àwọn nǹkan tí mò ń ṣe yìí. My special thanks goes to my children as well for embracing the Yoruba culture and the language. They are the true Yoruba ambassador. Inú mi dùn láti wà ń bí ilé ní. Mo fi àsìkò yìí kí àwọn bàbá bàbá àti àwọn ìyá wa tán wà ní orí ìjókòó àti gbogbo àwọn tó ṣe agbátẹrù ètò tá à ń ṣe ń bí ilé ní. Inú mi máa ń dùn gbogbo ibi tí n bá lọ tí àmì ìdánimọ̀ mi ń jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá rere. Mo fẹ́ fi àsìkò yìí gba àkíyèsí àwa tí a jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko àti lẹ́yìn odi ká mú èdè Yorùbá àṣà ìṣe ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní ọ̀kúnkúndùn. Wọ́n ní ọmọ tó bá sọ lẹ́nu ó sọ àpò ìyàkọ́. Lóòótọ́ ìlú òyìnbó lèmi ń gbé ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan tí àwa tá a wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ń wá tá a fi ń jáde lọ síta pé à ń wá káàkiri lèmi ń wá tí mo fi ń padà wálé. Ó wù mí láti tún kó àwọn ọmọ mi wá sílé láti wá ṣe kíni láti wá kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ tó yè kooro torí ìjọmọnìyàn mi àti ìjọmọ Yorùbá pàtàkì mi lénìí ó ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn ètò ẹ̀kọ́ tí mo gbà látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn òbí mi àti àwọn nǹkan tí mo ṣe nígbà tí mò ń dàgbà láàrin àwọn akẹgbẹ́ mi. So mo fẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ tèmi náà ní irú ìgbésí ayé bẹ́ẹ̀. So ó wù mí láti kó wọn wá sílé láti wá kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́. So ó máa ń bà mí nú jẹ́ tí n bá rí tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa ń sọ wípé wú Yorùbá help. Èdè rádaràda ni èdè tí ò mú ìwúrí wá ni. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe nǹkan tó tọ́ àti nǹkan tó yẹ láti jẹ́ pé èdè Yorùbá àṣà àti ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ Yorùbá kò ní parun. Ní ìlú òyìnbó tí mò ń gbé àwọn ọmọ mi ní àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ tí wọ́n jẹ́ òyìnbó. Tí n bá sọ fún yín pé àwọn ọmọ yìí ń sọ Yorùbá ńkọ́? Àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ ọmọ òyìnbó torí pé wọ́n máa ń bá àwọn ọmọ mi ṣeré àwọn náà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa kọ́ Yorùbá wọ́n ti ń sọ Yorùbá ó wù wọ́n láti máa sọ Yorùbá. Ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá a rí èdè Yorùbá gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan àmúyangàn mọ́. Mo fẹ́ ká pe àrò àti ọ̀dọ̀fin inú wa. Ẹ dákun ẹ má jẹ́ kí èdè Yorùbá parun. Ẹ ṣeun.
Ẹ ṣeun. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Adúpẹ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Ṣé gbohùngbohùn yìí dẹ̀ ń sọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa? Ẹ ṣeun, adúpẹ́. A point of correction. When I was talking about the indigene bill the last time, it was a bill that was proposed by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Rep, Honorable Ben Kalu. It was not the Speaker of the House, which is Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. So, correction there. So, Egunla ni Kẹ́yìn Ìgbàlẹ̀. This last award is supposed to go to the Honorable Governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu. The award of the Akikanju Omoluabi, the reason why we decided to give the governor this award was because it's in recognition of the work he's doing in Lagos State in terms of infrastructure. It is quite unfortunate, or before I say anything, do we have the representative of the Lagos State governor in the House? I don't think so. We were promised that somebody was going to be here. Unfortunately, they are not here. Awa Obino, Shugban, for record purpose, this is the second time we will be presenting an award to somebody from Lagos State government, and they will not collect the award. It can only mean one thing. They don't want it. They're snubbing us. But we will not stop, because this is our constituency, Yoruba land. Lagos State is a Yoruba state. If we see something that we appreciate, we will knock on the door. If you don't open the door, we'll knock again until that door is opened. This award will be sent to the governor's office. The governor can acknowledge it if he wishes to. The award that we gave to, I believe it was Dr. Wahab last year. One of the representatives, I believe, was in the audience that time, but you know, that award is still not received. You know, we spend our money to make this award. They're actually not cheap. And this very pretty award cost us some money. So, Governor Sanwo-Olu, can you please send us a check in the mail for our award, even though you are not here to receive it? We'll send it to your office, and you can put it among your collections. But it is very important to say this. As Yoruba nationalists, as I am standing before you here, I'm a physician. I left my work and everything, traveled down from the US to come here. Nobody asked me to do it. I do it because we have to. Some people have to continue to carry the torch. When we invite you to come to an event, you should honor us with respect and send someone, even if you cannot come. Albert, I don't see why you cannot spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes of your time to talk to the future generations of the Yoruba. We're not playing here. We're not playing. We're not applying for contracts or anything. When we knock on your door, on your offices, it's about Yoruba issues. It's not for personal gain. So I hope the message will be received by the governor's office, and I want to believe that the governor is a true Omoluabi. He's going to correct that. Thank you very much. The next session. The next section is supposed to be Q&A from all our Yoruba nationalists. Shout out to you guys on Twitter. You guys are working very hard. I wonder how they are able to get on Twitter. All those Yoruba youth always tweeting. You know, they tweet. It's so expensive in Nigeria, buying data and everything. And we know that the salaries are poor. But these young people, that is their own outlet. They are like the modern day warriors.
Because now they understand.
Exactly.
What is at stake.
Exactly. They know that this is their future. Morning, noon, Oruba, Itebaji, they are there. They are there. When somebody is dragging Sanwo-Olu, they are there as if they know Sanwo-Olu. Even this Sanwo-Olu, when they invite the governor, he's not going to come to their event. Yet they are still protecting him online. You know, so it is very to continue to move forward and continue. I see representative of Yetunde here. Yetunde is a Yoruba dating app because marriage is one of the tools of colonization. The folks from Yetunde, they figured this out. This is how they are doing their own nationalism. They created this because they want to create more Yoruba marriages, right? We want our brood to get bigger, right? Yoruba is one of the largest ethnic groups in Nigeria. Guess what? We want to be the largest. We want to be the largest, the number one. Worldwide, we're over 50 million. Guess what? We're not enough. We need two. And we need to also be economically strong. So Yetunde, you can take a minute to talk about your app so people can learn about you guys.
Orúkọ mi ni Ayọ̀mídé láti ilé-iṣẹ́ Yétúndé. Ní ilé-iṣẹ́ Yétúndé, a máa ń jẹ́ kí ọkùnrin àti obìnrin mọ̀ra wọn.
Ọkùnrin àti obìnrin àbí ọmọ Yorùbá ọkùnrin àti Yorùbá ọmọ ọkùnrin obìnrin ẹ là dáadáa.
Ẹ ṣé mà. A máa jẹ́ kí ọmọkùnrin Yorùbá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni a máa ṣiṣẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí alárinà. Àwọn Yorùbá dẹ̀ bọ̀ wọ́n ní pé tí ọkọ
táyà bá ti mojú ọkọ tí ọkọ bá ti mojú aya kálárìnà sún sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni so iṣẹ́ wa nìyẹn gẹ́gẹ́ bí alárinà máa jẹ́ kí ọmọkùnrin Yorùbá àti ọmọkùnrin obìnrin tó bá ti bàlágà tó bá ti fẹ́ lọ́kọ a máa jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ̀ra wọn. Ìkànnì ní ẹ lè download ẹ lórí Play Store. Thank you very much, everybody.
Eshe, thank you so much. Special thanks. Mo ní èèyàn kan tí mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Màmá wa Dábírí. Mọ́mì ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ dìde kí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn rí yín. Ṣé rí màmá wa yìí mo fẹ́ sọ nǹkan kékeré nípa wọn. In fact, energy wọn bíi ti ojú tọmọ jẹ́nsí lọ. Kò sí program wa tí màmá máa miss. Our contribution is wonderful. In fact, mo sure pé ó máa ń màmá gan kan di èwe padà, kan gan di jẹ́nsí padà. Because our energy is just wonderful. Ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá, ó mọ ẹmú lọ́mọ ní àyà màmá tó jẹ́ pé it's ẹjọ́ ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ màmá. Mama Dabiri, thank you so much. Ẹ ṣeun gan mama. Ẹ ṣe thank you. Ẹ ṣeun gan. So, ó dàbẹ̀ ni pé a ti wá bọ́ sí ìgbẹ̀yìn program báyìí. Gbogbo wa, àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wa o. Àdúpẹ́ pé òkun. Ẹ ṣeun, thank you so much pé a pè yín. Ẹ wá àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín. Bí gbogbo wa ṣe wá lọ tá à ń padà sílé wa, ẹ̀hún láyọ̀ la máa bá lé o. Ní rí jàǹbá ọkọ̀ ní rá burú lọ́nà o tábà délé náà ní bá burú lé o láyọ̀ la máa bá lé o ẹ ṣé gan o thank you so much a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wa ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́ o ẹni tó máa bà á jẹ́ Èdùà ṣe wọ́n mọ́ṣẹ́ ẹ ṣeun thank you so much ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ṣé mo ní èèyàn kan tó lè fún wa ní.
Okay o ẹ ṣé o ẹ kú àdúró tì wá látàárọ̀ o èyí ni láti fi tó gbogbo àwa TYF létí wípé after
a kí gbogbo wa kú àpérò ìní bí a ti ń lọ torí pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kì í ṣe Nàìjíríà nìkan bẹ́ẹ̀ ni a kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé ní ìlú Togo ní Benin Republic káàkiri ní àwọn Caribbean ní Ghana a kí gbogbo wa pátápátá Olódùmarè á máa wà pẹ̀lú wa ẹ jẹ́ kí ká má gbàgbé ilé kí gbogbo wa kí a máa tún orúkọ àti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣe Olódùmarè á ràn wá lọ́wọ́ ẹ ṣeun.
Àṣẹ. Ó dàbí wípé àwọn tiwa lórí afẹ́fẹ́ ti ní audio. Ṣé can we go? Okay, before he can you unmute yourself, please? Tigbo. Well, in the meantime, Tabashe Tonibi and Darisi Podium Empire ní Ìkọ̀tà Villa Estate ní Lekki fún gbogbo ẹmẹgbẹ́ tí wọ́n bá lè darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. We're having an after party there. Ní Podium Empire Guest House, Afrocentric Guest House. Ilé kejì TYF nìyẹn, agboolé wa nìyẹn. So ibẹ̀ ni gbogbo wa ń darí sí immediately after this. So ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ ká gbàgbé ẹni tí ò bá ní address kó béèrè lórí platform. À post ẹ̀ síbẹ̀. Ṣé tí ń gbọ́ wa? Ṣé tí ń gbọ́ wa? Ó kù díẹ̀. Wọ́n ń gbọ́ wa but àwa ò gbọ́ wọn. Okay. Ẹ máa gbọ́ wa nísìn. A máa gbọ́ yín nísìn. Ẹ ṣé. In the meantime again, in another news, báwa oníròyìn ṣe máa ń sọ. Títí Cole kọ́ lórúkọ mi o. Títílọ́lá Abọ́yadé Cole ni o. Double barrel name, compound name ni orúkọ bàbá mi. Abọ́yadé ọmọ ya òbí ìjà ara lódò. Ọlálọ́mí Olúbísí ọmọ ẹranko ya ayò. Ẹ má máa gé Abọ́yadé yẹn kúrò. Ẹ ṣé.
Gọ́vnà wa náà ni ò wáyé.
Ọ̀rọ̀ di hùn níbi tí gọ́vnà wa yẹn ẹ ṣé. Wọ́n á wá lọ́dún tó ń bọ̀. Ṣé òun wọn ti jáde? Ẹ ṣeun. Ẹni tí ò bá ti darapọ̀ mọ́ TYF tó bá jàlejò níbí ilé ní ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ rí wọn ní orí table tó wà níta yẹn kẹ́ bá wa fi orúkọ sílẹ̀ because I always say something everybody tó jọmọ Yorùbá TYF by default nìyí you are a Yoruba you are a TYF member by default because you have to think Yoruba first. Tá bá ń pe orúkọ yín ẹ̀yin náà ti mọ̀ pé member TYF nìyí so ẹ jọ̀ọ́ bá wa fi orúkọ sílẹ̀ lórí table tó wà níta yẹn. Ẹni tó bá tún fẹ́ chẹ́ẹ̀kì fúnpá ẹ̀ náà orí table tó wà níta níbi staircase yẹn náà àwọn ìlera wà níbẹ̀. À ń bọ̀ ẹjọ́ ẹ bá wa fi sùúrù sí ẹ tó a tó gbọ́ yín sí. A ti ń gbọ́ yín díẹ̀díẹ̀ ó yá ẹ gbóhùn sókè.
Ṣé ó ṣì wà very clear?
Very clear. Very clear.
Lots are called, but few are chosen. So, a fẹ́ fi avenue yẹn kakọ́ fi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì, a fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn patrons wa tó jẹ́ pé láti ìgbà tá a ti dá ẹgbẹ́ yìí sílẹ̀ lọ́ ti sọ pé máa jó lọ, ẹ máa jó lọ, a wà lẹ́yìn yín. Lẹ́lẹ́kẹta, a fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn royal fathers wa nítorí kò sígbà tá a pè wọ́n tí wọ́n jẹ́ wa. Ìgbà tí TYF tó jẹ́ ọmọdé tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní bí ọdún 4 sí 5 sẹ́yìn. Àkọ́kọ́ wò, àkọ́kọ́ fi t'Olódùmarè àfi síwájú. Ní àsìkò ilé yìí, President wa, arákùnrin Bọ́lárìnwá, ìgbà tó pè wá pé báyìí ni àwọn rí pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá máa rí ní ọdún 5, 6, 7, ní pé vision táwọn ní fún TYF nìyẹn. Àdẹ̀wò pé lots are called, few are chosen. Kẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀, a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń tọ̀. Díẹ̀díẹ̀, a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń rò pé báwo ni ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣe máa rí in 10 years, in 20 years, in 50 years, in 100 years. Throughout this journey, àti dáwọn ibì kan tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ní ta ló ń jẹ́ TYF nígbà tá a kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Nígbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀, a tún dáwọn ibì kan wọ́n ní báwo ni tiyín ṣe jẹ́. Nígbà yìí náà ni ààrẹ máa ń sọ pé ká dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ààrẹ Gani Adams. Nípò láwọn ibì kan tó jẹ́ pé tó bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ think Yoruba first, pé báwo ni tiyín ṣe jẹ́. Àwọn àgbààgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló máa ní àwọn ọmọ yẹn á mọ̀ wọ́n. Wọ́n kàn fẹ́ràn ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bó ṣe yẹ kí gbogbo wa fẹ́ràn ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni. So a tún fi àsìkò yìí a fi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn bàbá wa, àwọn ìyá wa, àwọn bíi arábìnrin Dábírí tí àwọn ìtọ́ fi wọ̀n wá ń gbà yẹn. Kò síbi tí TYF máa ti fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan, whether online or physical. Wọ́n á ṣàwà báwọn ṣe máa débẹ̀ ni. So fáwọn bàbá àti ìyá wa yẹn, a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o. Ó tún láwọn sections kan tá a tún fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Àwọn ọmọdé, àwọn àgbàlagbà. Àwọn ọmọ 17 years old, àwọn ọmọ 18 years old. Tọ́jú kò tọ́rọ báyìí pé nǹkan táwọn people yìí ń sọ ó yé wa bó ṣe yẹ kílẹ̀ Yorùbá rí leléyìí, bó yẹ kí future wọn yí leléyìí. Àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké yẹn náà tó jẹ́ pé àwọn ẹgbẹ́ wọn yìí tó ń ṣe TikTok ń ṣe TikTok, yìí tó ń ṣe èyí tó yẹ kó hùn ń ṣe èyí tó hùn, bọ̀ àwọn yẹn ti ní látọkàn láti kékeré. Àwọn ọmọ 16, 17, 18 ní different campuses ní pé nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí ó lọ́pọlọ nú. A tún fi àsìkò yìí a fi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o. Dáadáa yín ò ní bàjẹ́ o. Wọ́n máa ń sọ nǹkan kan wá ní we are the future leaders of tomorrow. We disagree because you are the leaders of today. Àwọn ọmọ yín ló máa jẹ́ the future leaders of tomorrow. So lásìkò yìí gbogbo wa la mọ̀ gbogbo rògbòdìyàn tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. So lára àwọn Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn, Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà àti gbogbo àwọn tó ń ṣe nǹkan ribiribi, a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o. Dáadáa yín ò ní bàjẹ́ o. So everybody, I would like all of us to give ourselves a round of applause. I would like each and every one of us to give us a round of applause because we have done an excellent job. But do not let us forget, ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ kọ́ ló níṣẹ́ o, ẹni tó bá ṣe dópin ni o. 4 years ago, àwọn ajínigbé wọ̀ sí ní Kwara o, àwọn ajínigbé wọ̀ sí lọ́yọ̀ọ́ o. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká gbàgbé nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Lebanon o. Gbogbo nǹkan tá ti gbọ́ lẹ́nìí látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ọba wa, látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn speakers, ẹ jẹ́ ká fi sọ́wọ́ òsì, ẹ má jẹ́ ká fi jàmàlà o. Lórí náà, ẹ ṣé gan-an, a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o. Gbogbo ibi tá à ń fẹ́, gbogbo èròǹgbà wa nípa ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ ká dé bẹ̀ o. Àwọn ọmọ wa ò ní tọrọ jẹ o, kò ní sú wa o, kò ní rẹ̀ wa o. Ẹ ṣé gan-an. Àtúntúra ara rí o. Ó di ọdún tó ń bọ̀, ẹ ṣé gan-an. Ẹ má gbàgbé láti sọ fún àwọn ẹbí yín, láti sọ fún àwọn ará yín, yálà inú mọ́tò lẹ́wà ní àbí ibi iṣẹ́, ẹ máa sọ fún àwọn èèyàn ní pé kó máa ronú ní Yorùbá lálákọ̀ọ́kọ́. Ìgbà tí àwọn bàbá wa sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ rí pé gbogbo wọn rí, wọ́n sọ wípé ilé ayé ti ń change. The geopolitics of life is changing. so ẹ jẹ́ ká rántí ní pé gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ní àgbáyé wọ́n ronú ní Yorùbá lálákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tẹ́ bá lọ sí káàkiri àgbáyé whether tẹ́yàwó jẹ́ Christian tẹ́yàwó jẹ́ Orthodox tẹ́yàwó jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí àwọn èèyàn ò fi ìran bàbá wọn ò fi ṣeré o so ẹ ṣé gan-an Ọlọ́run á wà pẹ̀lú wa o àní ṣubú dànù o àní fi ọwọ́ wa gbọ́mọ sí o àrí bá ti ṣe àrọ́nà gbígbà o ẹ ṣé gan-an Olódùmarè á wà pẹ̀lú gbogbo wa o ó dọdún tó bọ̀ o ẹ ṣé gan-an.
Are we still live? Okay, I think we need to go offline. Yeah, we are done. Any suro, we need to go offline. Go ẹ jọ sá o. Ẹ jọ ẹ má ti lọ mọ́mì ẹ má ti lọ mo kàn fẹ́ next 5 minutes ni mo wá fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ are we offline? Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wa.